All right. Hello, everybody, and all my friends, all my dear friends online. This is a little delayed because we got some difficulties trying to coordinate different time zones, but I'm happy to see you tonight, and I have a good friend from all the way half of the other end of the globe, Kevin. Kevin from US. Let's welcome Kevin. Woohoo! All right, Kevin. So, um, tell us about yourself. What do you do?
Yeah, so I am a digital marketing agency founder, and I'm here in Kansas City. And pretty much, I run a team of digital marketers and video production people, and we manage accounts on a global level. Well, different brands, personal brands, even small to mid-sized businesses.
Okay. So, how do you do? How do you get to do? Maybe just bring us back a little bit in time, like 20 years ago.
Yeah, so 20 years ago, a lot has happened. So I have always been an entrepreneur. So since even as a child, I always liked selling things. So this is probably my fourth business that I've owned. I've owned anything from web design
Mhm.
agency all the way to restaurant and bar, and then kind of circle back full circle into the agency model. So in 2008, we were going through an economical crisis. So at the time, I had a business for 4 years. It was a restaurant and bar business that my father and I got into together because my father was a chef, and
Mhm.
at the time he ended up developing cancer, and within a year that restaurant and bar operation closed. And when he had cancer, it really allowed me to evaluate who I was and what I really wanted to do. And during that time, we had a successful restaurant business, but we ended up with a bankruptcy because one, it wasn't what I wanted to do. My dad died from cancer that year,
Mhm.
so I went through a lot of just challenges, and just you're the happy coach, right? And during that time, I wasn't too happy, so I was going through that challenge of just I'm a Christian, so for me, it's all about
Mm.
where does God want me, right? Is this God's will for my life? I started asking myself those questions, and where does God want me? So I started over to from being I've been a corporate executive. I've been owned multiple businesses, and
Mhm.
then from going from a restaurant, successful restaurant owner in my local community, to just losing everything, right? I just started over. I walked away from that restaurant, took a bankruptcy, and just really recalibrating what searching for my, people talk about a lot their why, but
Yep.
it's more, instead of what's my why, is what's my purpose that God has for me. And
Mhm.
that's when I started, going back to church, met Jennifer, my wife of today. And then it took, several years before I rebelled and found this industry, marketing industry, right? So
Mhm.
pretty much I took a lot of jobs that were not jobs that most professionals would do, from working at a fast food restaurant to renting cars to selling cars. So I went backwards, right? Those are more
Yep.
entry level jobs. I went from a business owner making really good living to starting over, And then slowly I found my way back into the entrepreneurship. And then I've had my agencies for 6 years now. And we grew from local to global. Yeah.
Okay, wow, that's quite a journey. That's quite a journey. So, okay, maybe that's a little bit. There's quite a bit to unpack over here. Let's start with let's start with the point where you lost your dad, right? And how do you get out of that low point in your life? How do you feel at that time when you lost your dad, and how do you?
When I lost my father, one, I was close to my dad. It was something that we could do together. So his dream was to own his own restaurant, right? He's worked for people all his life. And as a son, especially in the Asian culture, you want to take care of your parents. And for me, it was almost like accomplishing his dream. So I have a software engineering degree, and I told myself I never want to be in the restaurant business, right? But then I wanted to do that with my father, so we did it together. So when my dad died, it was almost like, what is the purpose, right? Because it was more for my father, versus me at first, right? And then during that time, I was very depressed, and I am a very positive person. So it was just
Can tell.
yeah, it was a
Can
very
sense the
low
vibes.
point. And usually I'm real positive, but at that time it started making me question, like, why, why did all these things happen, and why it happened so fast. And it was a strange time too, because we were paying off all our debt from the restaurant. We were finally in a business, right? Usually it's I would say the 4 or 5 year model when you start seeing that turning point, right? From
Delton says hi. Hello, Delton.
hey
Thanks for
Dalton.
tuning in.
So it was the turning point, and then all of a sudden, like, hey God, why did this happen? Because
Yep.
just like COVID is uncertainty. You can't plan when someone gets sick. You can't plan where cancer takes people, right?
Yep.
You can't. It's outside my control. And so I would say my turning point is, for me, is realizing that our pride doesn't matter. For me, I had a very hard time at first just doing jobs to survive, because I felt like, hey, this is my value. I am worth this much because I used to be a business owner, or my prior job, I had this much salary. And then being able to swallow my pride and go, get up, go do something. It doesn't matter if it's frying chicken or renting cars, whatever. It's better than sitting at home and drilling on the past. So for me, it's taking action. Because for the longest time, I just locked myself up at home. I just slept at home. I had some money saved up before my bankruptcy. So, but I was always home, just like unhappy, and then drowning in my sorrow, right? But my mindset shift and go, I have to get out and I have to do something, regardless if it's something I enjoy or not. Just start doing. And then when you start doing, you start connecting with people again. You start building relationships again, and opportunities open. I started going back to, hey, things that matter to me as a child, like going to church. I grew up in church, and that's when I met my wife, and then it made it even easier, because her and I, had a lot of fun during that time. I had no job.
So it's a blessing in disguise. So connecting the dots backwards, did it make you realize that there are certain things in life that are more important?
Absolutely. It made me realize, like, what the world tells us is success doesn't really matter. It's irrelevant, right? It also allowed me to value my mind. Our mind is the most powerful thing that we have. If we choose to do something, it can happen. And our mind is strong. Our mind can go through challenges, things that we don't think we can handle. our minds can handle it. We're designed to bounce back from a death of a loved one. We're made to
Mm-hmm.
bounce back when, things that happen like COVID and different things like that. But the things that matter most, I learned, is I can never go back spending time with my dad. I can never go back. If you have children, I'm a father. I have a 6-year-old and 8-year-old.
Yep.
If you
Yep.
focus so much on your business and what the world tells you as success, you can lose your time with your children, which you can never reverse. You cannot go back to. So I say, hey, value the things that matter. I don't think anyone in life during their deathbed, they aren't thinking about how successful they are. Usually the regret is not spending time with those people who matter.
Yeah, absolutely agree.
Yeah.
Because something, I think memories and the chance to spend time with your loved ones is something that money cannot buy.
No,
Because once it's gone, it's gone.
it's gone. Yep. Time is one thing that we can't reverse. No one's figured that out yet, right?
Yeah, 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 exactly. And so I actually thought of today's title, which is planting a mustard seed, and I really thought that it's apt based on what you have described and what I know of your story. Yeah. So what is your mustard seed? What's the mustard seed in your life?
Yeah. The mustard seed, to be honest with you, is you have to find something that's beyond yourself. It has to be beyond yourself. And for me, I'm a Christian, so I believe in a higher
Yeah,
being.
me too. Me
You
too.
know,
I
I
find.
believe in God, and there is hope. We can't find hope in just humans, because I've seen it throughout my life. Friends. Not that you can't have friends, but you have to find true, authentic friends, and those are rare. Especially when you get older and older, right? Those start being more of a commodity. Is rare.
Yep. Yep.
And people are people. They're going to make mistakes. We're not perfect. And if you don't find hope in something higher, you're just chasing. I feel life is almost like a rat wheel, right? We chase. We wake up, we go work, we feed our kids, we go bed. And then we return doing the same thing. And then when you're younger, you go wake up, you go to school, get out of school, play, go bed, right? So you see this cycle. Even my son, okay, he's only 8, and the other day he came to Jen and share with me too, and he said, "What's the purpose of life?" He asked us,
That's really deep.
and
8 year
because
old.
he
It's a very
feels
deep
very
question.
upset right now during the pandemic. He doesn't understand why he can't play with other kids. He's always home, and he's like, and he has to do virtual school. So he asked me, "What's the purpose of life?" And he goes like, "Well, we do the same thing every day, and we just continue." And so I just share with him like the purpose of life is we are here, however long we're here for, right? You have
Yep.
to find a purpose. You are here. And for
Mm-hmm.
me,
Mm-hmm.
that mustard seed is God give us the opportunity to love. And I
Yeah.
think what motivates me daily is how can I bring value to other people? If it's helping a neighbor or doing something for free, is okay. It's not always. I hate in the business world, right? It's always an ROI, a return on investment, right?
ROI. Yep. Get
For
that a
me, my
lot.
ROI is relationships. Because if you can take care of the people, you can take care of the relationships. You're good. That's gonna take care of you. Because I looked back when I lost everything, right? All the friends that care about me when I was a business owner, they all disappeared. You know, when I was a business owner, no,
Sometimes when you go through difficult times, that's the best time to find out who are
yeah,
your real friends.
yeah, no one called me, no one wanted to come help, you know, and then I just have maybe one or two. Even till today, they're still my friends, right? Out of like 50, only two, you know, and then and then you look back, it's the opportunities. You know, I have friends who I helped when I was going through good times that it
Yeah.
reversed. They helped me whenever I was going through my tough times. So I think
Hmm.
relationships, you can't put a figure on that. You can't put an ROI on relationships because you never
So
know
true.
where those relationships take you, you know? Because you can live frugal. I actually disagree. A lot of people say you cannot be happy if you're financially not successful. I had
Hmm.
some of my happiest times when I was struggling financially, you know? And I know
That's
finance
deep.
gives you
That's
the
deep.
freedom, but those were very simple times. It
Mm.
was where wake up, I did a job that I would call is a little minus, right? When I worked at the fast food restaurant, it was minus.
Hmm.
It is really like you go work at 9, you get off at 8, and you're done. You don't take work with you because you're just frying chicken or there's days now I tell Jen, yeah, I'm a business owner and I have people I manage, but the stress
Hmm.
level sometimes is a little higher. I, Work continues even after work because it's my own business. So sometimes I'm still thinking about it, even on my day off. It's still in the back of my mind. But when I went, if you go, like example, work a simple job like roofing, you don't think about roofing after you're off work or construction. It's hands
Mm.
on. So
Yep.
there's days I think about, hey, it'll be fun to just take a day and just work at a restaurant. For me, it'll be relaxing, but I don't want to do it long term.
Right, right, yeah. So, oh, that's quite a bit that you have said. So now that you know what's your master seed, how are you going to make sure that this master seed is well protected, is well taken care of, and you eventually grow to a big tree and you bear fruits?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest thing is know who you can trust. I think is ensuring when you want to protect. Okay, when you love people, okay, you first have to
Mm-hmm.
love yourself.
Yeah,
You have
yeah,
to take care
that's
of
true.
yourself. When I was unhappy with myself, I was upset with myself. Um, I couldn't really give anymore, right? You can
Mm-hmm.
only give what you have.
Yeah.
And with love, as the mustard seed, I think you first have to do some self care. You have to take care of yourself. You have to take care of your health, exercise, eat right, right? You can't love others or give if
Mm-hmm.
you don't feel good, if you're sick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Take care of your mental health, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, working all the time, the hustle, in US culture, maybe it's called a hustle. In Asian culture, it's just hard working because hard work is good, lead you to the promised land. But there has to be time off. Well,
Yeah.
just like a machine, you can't work all the time. You're going to break, you're going to burn out. So even
Yep.
for myself, I've been learning to, hey, take a step back, take time off, breathe, and just be able to not think about work. Work can wait. It's
That's
okay.
what most people don't understand.
It can wait. You can go back to it. You know what cannot wait? Your marriage. It cannot wait. You don't spend time with your wife. You don't feed it. You don't love it. You don't give it time. Eventually, your marriage isn't gonna be good, and that leads to stress, and that leads to other issues. Same with your kids. You're not a good father. You're not a mother spending time with your kids. They're going to grow up to be something you're not proud of, right? There's things in life that cannot wait. Your health cannot wait. You can't say, oh, tomorrow I'll exercise because I'm very busy right now because I'm building my financial empire.
Mm.
I watch it with my dad, you know? One day you get cancer, and now what? You invested all that time in your financial empire, and now you don't get to enjoy it because you're sick and then you die. You know, those are things we cannot control. So while we're living, live. And to protect that mustard seed,
Yeah.
you live. You know, you live to your fullest every day. Like you don't know if tomorrow's gonna happen. So that's
Actually, you brought out a very contentious point, because I think a lot of people, they kind of find a balance between putting a decent income to take care of the family, and their health, and relationships, investing time in relationships. There's a difficult balance to strike. How do you try to achieve a balance between all these
for me it's
various
huge.
things? Yeah.
So when I took my bankruptcy in 2008, I lost everything. I had $1,000 in the bank. And what I learned is I never want to go into so there's positive debt and there's negative debt, right? So investments are positive debt, right? Because investing in a business, you have the potential to grow residual income through your business. Now, buying a brand new car is not necessarily a positive debt, or buying, a lot of clothes or different things like that, right? So I think there's that balance. You want quality of life with your family. You can also live more frugal. You know, can
That's
we
true.
cook? Can we cook at home versus do we eat out all the time? Right. So there's that. I say don't live beyond your means because that puts a lot of stress on yourself. And when there's stress, it causes unhappiness. You know, so I try to stay, pretty minimum, right? Because I mean, my home's pretty nice. It's okay, but do I need to have the nicest home? You know, I think we get caught up in the world chasing after. We envy what other people have. We start seeing, especially with social media, right? You see what other people have all the time, or what other people tell you, right? But you know what makes you happy. If you can live simple, then stay simple, and
Yeah.
store. Remember, there's going to be bad times and you need a store in your storehouse, and that's what I found, like during this pandemic, we had, successful 3-4 years where we stored, where we saved. So during the pandemic, it's not as stressful for me because I have saved, and I have invested in things that, could help me have other revenue streams of income. So
Yeah.
I think it comes down to don't live beyond what you can. Don't get your eyes so big. Remember, during good times, it's time to store. And during, bad times, you can reutilize those funds, But a lot of people during good times, they start buying stuff. Oh, I'm successful now. Oh, let me buy my Mercedes, BMW, so people can see I have this. Oh, I'm an entrepreneur now. I need the bigger house. Yeah.
Dalton was asking, how long did you take to get out of debt?
Interesting, right? So in the U.S., when you go through a bankruptcy, you naturally get out debt. So the debt that you owe prior to your bankruptcy pretty much clears, like your credit card, different things, or loans. The only thing that doesn't clear is your taxes, right? But in order to rebuild my credit, right? In the U.S., a lot of it is credit based, right? It really took, I would say, in about 5 years really just taking the time and investing in it's called in America, and I don't know, maybe in Asia it's different. It's called debt to income ratio. You want less debt than your income. So, but at the same time, you want to have credit too, because you want to build credit so that you can invest in different things and borrow money from the bank. So
Mm-hmm.
you have to find that balance of, I think it's just being smarter with your finances, right? I always say, hey, if you can save 20%, put it in the bank. Act like you don't make that money. Just take 20% away and take that money. And then how can you take that 20% and invest in something that there's growth, right?
Yep.
Maybe in a business, maybe in mutual funds, and if you're savvy, I don't know. I am not a financial advisor, so I can't give you advice on that. But I know some people put it in stocks and different things like that. And
Yep.
but you gotta be careful because those are high risks. So you have to be careful who you trust. But
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
make your money grow for you. Let it work for you. Don't work for money.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Yeah, that's very important as well. Yeah. Right. So moving forward, what are you looking forward to in the next 12 months in terms of
When you're an
business, in
entrepreneur,
terms of personal?
yeah.
Yeah.
When you're an entrepreneur, you're always on a journey. And I always tell people, you can have your good seasons and you can have your bad seasons. You don't know, right? Even Elon Musk, he was number one wealthiest man, and then Jeff Bezos is number one again. So it goes up and down, right? So when you're on an entrepreneur journey, you don't know when the storms will come. So for me, is always like, how do I prepare myself for the next storm? There will be another something, right? The longer you live, the more things like the pandemic will happen. If you talk to any
Yep.
elderly person, right? They've lived through wars, they've lived through, sickness. There's always something, right? So I think for me, it's just ensuring that I have a positive mindset, and it's really trusting God and having faith, right? I like what you said.
Amen to that.
This show is
Amen.
about mustard seed, right? Is having faith like
It
a
is.
mustard
Yep.
seed. There's so many things. If you live life just trying to control everything, right? That's very stressful.
Yes, it is. It
Yeah,
is.
if you're gonna project your entire life like a business, like do projections, you can't. It's impossible. I can't project how long I live. I don't know. I can walk out here today after the show and a car can hit me. I can't project life. But in order to have sanity and seeing the future where I want to be, my goal is like, hey, I want to raise some my boys, that they're happy. I want to keep a good marriage, and regardless of career and business, is wherever God takes it. Doors will open when it needs to open, and will close when it closes, and it's outside my control. But I can only prepare for the storm, right?
Yep. Yep. That's right. We can only do so much to prepare for a storm. I think I use this formula, and something that you might want to just put it in your mind as well is called E plus R equals to O. So E stands for all the external environment, things that we cannot control. R stands for how we respond to our external environment, to how the things happen. And O stands for the outcome. So the outcome, we can determine the outcome based on our responses, and we can determine the outcome that we want to get out of it. Yeah. So
No,
that's
that's
the
so
formula I
good.
always use.
No, and it's so true because your outcome is determined by our reaction, right? When we get angry, our it the response affects our outcome because we're angry. So you're absolutely right. I really like that.
Yeah, like for example, for your case, I think you could have I mean, life will have taken a different path. You have made a different decision at the point when your dad passed away, at the point where you decided to get out of employment and start something new on your own. Yeah. So it's all about how you respond to whatever life throws you.
Yep, exactly. I agree because I think about that a lot. I think about, hey, the choices I make on a daily basis, how it impacts us, and it impacts others too. You know, our response impacts other
Yeah.
people. Yep.
Environment plus response equal outcome. Yes, Delta. Exactly. All right, I just got to wrap up the show. Thank you for tuning in, all my friends. This is not my usual timing, but I'm so happy to have Kevin all the way from the US. Yeah, and in Kansas, right?
Yep, I am in. Yeah, so in Kansas is interesting. So I am in Kansas City. So actually, there's Kansas and then there's Missouri. You know, so we're a state with. So we're a place with two states, mix up Kansas City. So pretty much with I am on the Missouri side, but within 30 minutes I'm on the Kansas side. So yeah.
I haven't been to that part of the US before, but I would really like to go once this whole thing blows over. But thank you for your time, Kevin. And if my friends would like to connect with you, how can they find you?
Yeah, the best way, I'm the most active on LinkedIn. And if you type in Kevin Kwok Digital Marketing, you're going to find me on LinkedIn. So, and then I'm on Facebook as well. And J29 Creative is the handle for my company. And we're on every social media platform. And then the way I met Happy Coach is through our Bottoms Up Perspective live show. I do a live show. So it's 9 a.m. GMT plus 8. So your time on it would be your Thursday mornings. So
Thursday mornings. Yep.
in Asia, and in America it would be my 7 p.m. Central Standard on Wednesday. But we do a show, and it's really sharing the perspective East and the West, and pretty much trending topics. And I know Happy Coach been on my show, and he has a lot of value
Yeah,
to bring.
thank you for that. Thank you for that. I really enjoy myself. And guys, if you really want to have your weekly dose of positivity and being staying in on top of the latest topics, please tune in Thursday mornings to the Bottoms Up Perspective on YouTube. The YouTube channel, what's it called again?
Yep, it's just bottoms up
Perspective.
Yep.
Yeah, so you just go to YouTube, type in Bottoms Up Perspectives. You can find the channel, and please like and subscribe to it. It's good content, solid content, headed by Kevin and a few other of my friends, lovely friends. And thank you guys for tuning in tonight. I hope this has been helpful to you, planting a mustard seed, and I hope that this year you decide to take a step of faith to plant your mustard seed if you have not done so. If you have already planted, please take good care of your seed. And I hope that at the end of the year, you'll be looking forward to a good harvest. Okay, thank you, Kevin. And thank you, guys.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Good morning for you and good night over here.
Glad I made
Bye-bye.
it. Bye.
You made it.